Hello and welcome to another edition of Bacardi TV. I'm joined by Shaun, a regular guest, who is a Liverpool fan. He doesn't hide that for some reason, don't know why. Shaun, Liverpool-Newcastle. Liverpool obviously maximum points so far. Newcastle, ordinarily would be expected to lose this one, but they did manage to win at Tottenham. What are your views? Do you think Liverpool will walk with this, or do you think? And sometimes after an international break, it can be a bit funny because all these players come back from their teams with varying degrees of fitness. Sometimes.
Well, we're hoping that we'll definitely come into this week very strong. Obviously, because of the AFCON, Salah and Mane got this international break off. So that's definitely an upside for Liverpool. They'll come back fit and with more energy than some of the other players from the other teams. Newcastle is never an easy team to play against. We have quite a history against Newcastle. And as we've said before, there are no easy games, but obviously we want to keep up our 100% start to the season. It would be nice to get like a 4-0 just to keep up with City's goal scoring. Definitely we have to keep up with them.
Yeah, it does seem to be who can score the most out of Liverpool and Man City at the moment in what looks a two-horse title race already. City are at Norwich, and the evening game on Saturday. Norwich have had a particularly leaky defence this season. They've been praised for their attacking play, but they have certainly shipped goals, and you don't want a vulnerable defence really coming up against the side with the power that City have in attack. I can't really myself see anything other than a away win in that one. But you never know, I suppose. Do you think Norwich can do anything, or do you think City will just stroll over them?
Well, we remember that Pukki did score against Liverpool. He has the ability to score against big teams. If he gets the opportunity, he's going to score the goal. But like you said, their defense is really leaky. So I think it's how they start the game off. They're going to have to start it off high tempo, try and stop City from scoring any goals, and maybe try and get the first goal. Maybe that can work out for them, seeing as though they're at home.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that obviously Norwich's style of play will also play into City's hands a bit because they attack, and City will find loads of space like Chelsea did at Norwich. And I think that and Liverpool did as well when they beat Norwich. So I think it'll be problematic for Norwich. They've had a very tough start to the season. Okay, to the two teams not doing so well, Manchester United and Chelsea. They've got a couple of games that could be tricky against two teams from the Midlands. Man U at home to Leicester, who have had a good start to the season under Brendan Rodgers, picking up sort of from where they left off last season a bit, and they've brought in some good players. What do you think? United, are they going to slip again? They haven't won since opening day. They hammered Chelsea. It all looked so rosy, and now it looks bleak.
Well, United started off well against Chelsea. We all thought that they're gonna show us that all that money they spent was worth it. But obviously they've been having some troubles. And Leicester, let's not forget that Leicester have Jamie Vardy. They obviously have that opportunity to take out United, definitely. I think that Leicester can really show them what's going to go down because Leicester are now in the top 10, basically. They're obviously going to want to win again and stay where they are. They might just show us that they can get a Champions League place if they keep up their form.
Yeah, that should be a tough one for United, and an even tougher one for Chelsea at Wolves, who had a really good season last season and are a strong team. Perhaps the best team outside of the top six at the moment, Wolves. And I think that with regard to that game, Chelsea, hopeful of having N'Golo Kante back, hopeful of having Rudiger back, that will strengthen them defensively, where they've been particularly bad so far this season. Up front, Tammy Abraham scored 4 goals. That's a plus for them. Mason Mount coming back from England duty. Hopefully he's all right. But I think it's going to be really tricky for Chelsea to win that one, to be honest. I can see a draw there, even though I'm a Chelsea fan. So let's see what happens. Hopefully Frank Lampard's boys can prove me wrong. Let's just finish off with a bit on Arsenal and Tottenham. Arsenal are at Watford. Watford have just changed their coach. They've changed their coach to a coach who coached them before in Quique Sanchez-Flores. But they seem to do that a lot. Watford change coach, that is. And I can't really see anything other than an Arsenal win in that one. What about you, Shaun?
Look, I never take anything away from Watford, especially against Arsenal. They did shock Arsenal last season, so it could happen again. Definitely.
That's true. They did last season. I remember that now. And then, of course, Spurs at home to Palace. You'd expect Tottenham to win, but they haven't won their last two. They lost at home to Newcastle. They drew with Arsenal. They're looking more defensively vulnerable this season than in previous seasons. And Palace can be a difficult team if they're on song. Zaha is a problem. Jordan Ayew's had a pretty good start to the season.
Definitely.
Do you think they could cause Tottenham some problems?
No, they definitely can. Ayew is on form. We saw Van Aanholt score a goal, and also something to consider is that international break. Not many of the Crystal Palace players actually had international duty. We had the likes of Kane playing for his England, and Eriksen as well. He was playing for his country, so the fitness could be an issue. Let's see if the guys are fit enough, if they can handle it. If not, I'm afraid Palace might shock them, because we know their manager's a bit of a master tactician, as I've said before.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson, former England coach, on a bit of a devil's advocate to Shaun's point there. Harry Kane, 4 goals, 2 games. Should come into the Palace game with a bit of confidence.
And
bang in a couple.
He knows the English players quite well.
And I would expect Harry Kane to get at least one for Tottenham in that one. That wraps it up for another edition of Bukati TV. Do like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.